Welcome to Your Max Podcast Now. Normally, a 54% profit jump would be impressive, even for a promising startup in a booming economy. But this last Tuesday, America's largest firm reported just such a feat, leaving investors far from satisfied. Apple reported a whisker less in sales and profits than Wall Street had forecast, for the first time in 30 quarters. Just the quarter before, it had topped earnings forecast by 34%, yet the stock plunged following the report in after-hours trading Tuesday. The Wall Street Journal insists that's not a sign of waning demand for two reasons. First, it's a 21% increase from a year earlier. Second, this year's September quarter customers probably held off on purchasing iPhone 4s in anticipation of the iPhone 4S. Now, last year, Apple launched a new model in June, giving September quarter customers ample reason to buy during that particular quarter. That's a timing quirk, not a disappointment. And if iPhone sales fell short in this year's September quarter, they'll most likely top expectation in December's quarter. Join with me now, won't you, for another heart-wrenching installment of Poor RIM. In this week's episode, just a mere 2 days after their official unveiling of their new BBX platform, RIM has already had legal papers tossed into their face. Notes TechCrunch that as it turns out, the BBX name was not free for the taking. Basis International, a software development company out of New Mexico, claims the trademark is theirs and that they're willing to fight for it. Their claim involves the trademark for their product, also named BBX, which they've been building since 1985 as an interpreter for the Business Basic Programming Language. Never heard of it? Don't worry. Apparently, neither did RIM. But Basis insists on taking the high road. They're giving RIM until October 31st to respond to a cease and desist order, requesting that RIM stops using BBX immediately. And if RIM doesn't comply, the company says they'll, quote, take the next logical legal step, end quote. Meanwhile, RIM tells Reuters that they haven't received the complaint, and even once they do, they see no problem. We do not believe the marks are confusing, particularly since our respective companies are different in the lines of business. And they may have a point. One creates software, the other simply uses software. What's to confuse? Join us again next week at this same time, won't you, as RIM announces that it's tossing its hat into the Republican rim. Well, fanboys and girls, apparently the disappointment escalates. On Monday morning, Apple announced that the iPhone topped 4 million units in sales in its first weekend. Said Phil Schiller, iPhone 4S is off to a great start with more than 4 million sold in its first weekend, the most ever for a phone and more than double the iPhone 4 launch during its 3 days. The strong early sales gives the iPhone 4S a strong shot of taking over the Guinness World Record for fastest selling consumer gadget. That distinction currently belongs to Microsoft's motion sensor for the Xbox Kinect. What's frightening is that the iPhone 4S will be available on October 28th in Austria, Belgium, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Mexico, Netherlands, Norway, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. So, with all of the iPhone 4s flying off the shelves right now, that begs the question, what's Apple pushing for Christmas? Truth triumphs fiction! Couldn't get your hands on an iPhone 4S? Well, here's something to make you happy. You could still get lucky. The Trump Taj Mahal Casino Resort plans to give $25,000 worth of plastic surgery to a winner from a player's card contest. The lucky person can mix and match surgeries including breast enhancements, tummy tucks, liposuction, and facelifts until the total hits $25,000. This promotion will allow the winner the opportunity to get the procedures of their choice, said Kathleen McSweeney, Senior Vice President of Marketing for Trump Entertainment Resorts. But some medical professionals worry the promotion could set a bad precedent by pairing potentially compulsive habits. Quote, definitely one thing reinforces the other one. Both are addictions and they're bad addictions, said Dr. Etta Gorbis. Let's see. Drinking, knives, and money. What could possibly go wrong?
Hi Frank, it's Don from Screencast Online, just finishing off the few final touches to this week's show. By coincidence, because you did ask me to send you a few comments about iOS 5, this week's show is all about OS 10, 10.7.2, iOS 5, and also iCloud. Now, you asked my initial impressions. Well, unfortunately, I'm one of those, well, I suppose lucky and unlucky people who have had the beta for quite a while. So, unfortunately, I don't get that sort of Christmas morning feeling when the new releases come out, because I've actually had iOS 5 since WWDC. Now, I was sort of foolhardy in that I put it on my iPhone when it first came out. And to be honest, it's been rock solid. I've not really had any problems. The issue has always been when you're dealing with beta software that the applications don't always support it. So I did come a cropper now and again, but overall, the experience has been great. Except for the Apple TV. Remind me never to put beta software on my Apple TV ever again. But saying that, I probably will do in the end. But no, it's a solid release. Very interesting, some of the features in there. I need to sort of do another show next week to explore the features in a bit more detail. But overall, I'm really, really happy with iOS 5. I also got the new iPhone this week as well. I got the iPhone 4S, and again, a great solid release. Camera's fantastic, video's really good. In fact, I'm recording this on the iPhone 4S, so let's see how that goes. What I did find was a problem, though, was battery life. The battery was just it wasn't lasting the day, which was a real surprise to me. But luckily, Twitter came to the rescue, and after a quick DFU restore, it's one of these, not a standard restore, this is where you sort of reset the phone back to its factory settings, everything seems to be honky-dory. In fact, I seem to be getting better battery life on the iPhone 4S than I did on my iPhone 4. Of course, on top of that is Siri. Siri is the icing on the cake with the iPhone 4S. It's still a bit limited in what it can do, but I think it really does give a good indication as to where Apple are taking their technology. And it really wouldn't surprise me that in a couple of years' time, we're not actually talking to our Macs rather than just our iPhones and our iPads. So anyway, I'll leave it for now. Just a quick message to you. I hope things are going well with you, and hopefully I'll see you in Macworld in January. Take care now.
Once again, boys and girls, that's this week in the Magic Apple Kingdom. And things are finally returning to normal. Welcome to the Tim Cook era. I think it's going to be great. And I wish to thank Lord McAllister for sharing with us his iPhone 4S experiences. And don't forget to visit www.screencastsonline.com and sign up for Don's indispensable weekly tutorials. He's found so many incredible new apps. I know that I'm both richer and poorer for the experience. This has been your host, A Whiter Shade of Pale, reminding you to download, double-click, drop out.